Good morning, everybody. All right, so what are we going on today? Today we will be going over SV1E. Ask questions to investigate and provide explanations about the roles of photosynthesis and cellular respiration in the cycling of matter and the flow of energy within the cell. Right? Mainly today we'll be focused on photosynthesis. Students will be able to communicate the inputs and outputs of photosynthesis. But have we already reviewed that? Have we already gone over it? Yes. Have we already done an artifact and a poster on it? Yes. So as you guys look at this very short video, I want you guys to think with a scientific mind, what is going on? Right? What is happening? Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Good morning, sir. Go look at it twice. Okay, so how do leaves change colors? That again? You in the back, sir?
Over time, they
Start to what?
change.
Yes, what
What
happened?
I've seen is more so like the more air, the more that like over time, the color started getting darker.
Okay, over time the colors start to change, but why? Right, let's think scientifically. Let's start here. What time of year do they change? The fall, right? So let's think. What is the environment like? Cold. What else? In the fall, it gets warmer? I think it gets colder. It's cooling down, right? We're entering the fall and winter. But what else? It's not as abundant that we know photosynthesis and plants need to survive. Sun, right? So if it's colder and there's not enough sun, what are the two ways that plants can get their nutrients? They can get it from the leaves, but also from where? But it's part of the tree. The roots, yes.
Sorry this interruption.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Can you send Eastern Fofana to the main office?
Wrong class. I think you might be looking for
I'm
Tran
sorry, Mr. Caskey. They
8110.
still have you room numbers
Yes.
on the
Yep.
schedule. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Thank you.
All right, so it's colder, we have less sunlight. What are the purpose of the leaves? Is to conduct what? No. Well, it releases oxygen, right? But what's the purpose of the leaves? Is to conduct what process that we'll be talking about today? Photosynthesis, right? So if there's not a lot of light, and is light one of the things that we need for photosynthesis? Yes. So what do you think the tree is trying to do when it sheds its leaves? It's trying to do what to itself? I'm hearing it. You need to say it louder. You got to be confident. Not expand. What is it trying to do with its energy? Conserve it. Yes, right? It's trying to conserve its energy. And then in the fall, it's getting most of its nutrients from the the soil, the roots, right? And then when there's enough light energy, what happens? What happens to the tree again in the spring? What happens? Blossoms, sprouts. Yes, the tree, the leaves come back. All right, so this is what we did yesterday, right? This is our cell energy sketch, where we went over cellular respiration and we went over photosynthesis. And we do realize that it's a what? What is it? A cycle, right? Because the same things that plants output, we what? Input, right? And the same things that we output the plant, right? I think it's really unique in terms of evolution, which is our last unit, how everything works together, right? How through evolution, our bodies have learned to adapt with plants and plants have learned to adapt to animals, right? This you do not have to draw. We will get to it. You guys will know what all this stuff means. All right, but remember I told you, is it as hard as it looks? No, because we'll break it down, right? We'll break it down. This is your first slide too, right? But then again, I implore you, what should we be using a lot of today? Highlighters, right? Highlighters. Also, you can bring up your canvas, right? If you want to look at the PowerPoint as I go. Does anybody need a loaner laptop to bring up the canvas? I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just bring 6. Between the two of you, here's 3. Here's 3. Can you please give a laptop to those who need one? Raise your hand if you need a loaner, please. Yeah, you're gonna have to get up for that. Thank you so much. All right, so I told you in biology, in science, can the words tell you what it does? Yes, right? We have our prefixes, we have our suffixes. This is the same case with photosynthesis, right? What does photo mean? Right, photography. And we have synthesis, which means, right, so light making, right? This is what we're using to make our chemical energy. So what's the point? Here's our official definition of photosynthesis. And as you guys are writing, to see if you guys are also thinking, what are autotrophs? It says here the process by which autotrophs and some other organisms use sunlight to synthesize, to make. What are autotrophs? The hint is it's on the board. What's an autotroph? Say louder, Solomon. Yes, what type of organism are those? Plants, trees, yes. Autotrophs can make their own energy. What is the opposite of an autotroph? What is something that needs to consume stuff to get its energy? Do we know? If you don't start saying it with confidence, young lady, say it louder, please, so everybody can hear you. Animal. Yes, animal, but what kind? Anybody heard of heterotrophs? Yes, right? So, animals, living things that make their own energy, autotrophs. Animals, living things that need to consume energy, food, heterotrophs. We will break it down. In first period, like how Dr. B kind of did this way, I'm going to actually do the same thing. So up here, we do know that everything on this side of the arrow are called reactants or inputs, correct? And everything on this side of the arrow are the products or the outputs, correct? So I'm just going to write the same thing but down here. So I'm going to say reactants right? Slash inputs. I'm going to say products slash what? Output. I'm also going to do this. So as you guys are writing this down, because the only part that I want you guys to write down is this part. You can skip this because I just wrote it at the bottom, correct? So if I were to ask you, what are the inputs of photosynthesis? What would you say? You know what? I love this. You know why this is so awesome? And Dr. B said it earlier. I'm going to wait before I say it. I'm going to wait before I say it. Marvelous. What are the inputs of photosynthesis? Just take a guess. What are the reactants slash inputs? What stuff? Which ones? What molecules? So where do you see the inputs, to the left or the right? Left. So what is associated with that stuff on the left? Carbon dioxide. What else? Anything else? Okay. Solomon. Good job, Marvelous. Good job. Solomon. I'm not. No. The reason why it's so funny is that you said it correctly in the beginning. Correct? Yes. Okay. Solomon. What are the inputs of photosynthesis? Okay. Now, Michaela, what is it? Okay, yes. Right, do we see that? Yes. Right, we have carbon dioxide, water, and light energy. The way that we read this reaction, right, because this is basically what this is a reaction. We have our 6 molecules of CO2. We have our 6 molecules of water. When in contact with what? Light energy, it gets converted into what? Glucose, everybody? Glucose and oxygen, right? We know that glucose is, which one of our macromolecules? Louder? Carbohydrate, right? We know that that is one of our, that is a carbohydrate, right? If it ends in OSE, it is a what? Carbohydrate, right? That's the way that we know it, right? Now, if I were to say, what are the outputs of photosynthesis, what would we say? Glucose and oxygen, right? Glucose and oxygen. One thing I also want to point out, the same elements that are here are the exact same number that are here, just what? Just what? Not flipped, but just rearranged, right? We have the same number, and we'll talk about it later. We have the same number of carbons, the same number of oxygens, the same number of hydrogens on this side that we have on this side. We call that a balanced equation. Let's take this off. Are we good? Everybody good? Okay. So, again, the way that we do this class, everything is what? In order, right? So here we started with the concept of photosynthesis, how plants do what they need to do to survive. Now we're going to talk about what is in that plant that allows it to do photosynthesis. The answer is chloroplast, right? Chloroplast. All right, so now we're talking about the whole tree. We're looking at the tree. We're looking at photosynthesis. Who here remembers the Magic School Bus? I'm happy. You make me feel not as old as I thought I was. Thank you so much for raising your hands. right? Now let's take that trip on the bus. Now we're going inside one of those leaves, right? You following me? Are we on the trip? So now we're on the bus. Now we're going inside the leaves. What are we going to see first? The chloroplast. We're going to see that chloroplast. Why is that chloroplast so important? It is the reason that it is allowed to live, because it produces the glucose. It produces the glucose. You guys wrote it. Some of you wrote it on your posters, but out extra credit. What are the 3 letters that humans, in terms of our reaction, convert oxygen into? What do we? I know she did it. You got it too, but she got it first. She's hit. You don't have to set your game up. She's still like you doing it. Yes, ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and we will talk about that. So again, the organelle. We do know chloroplast is an organelle, correct? Right. An organelle inside of plant cells where photosynthesis takes place. You can't answer this one, but you'll get your extra credit. For extra credit, what would be an equivalent of an organelle in humans that produces that ATP? Somebody's helping you. No. So, mitochondria. All right. I'll maybe give everybody extra credit for that one. Okay. Mitochondria. Correct. All right. Now move on. All right. So, that little green thing, one of those little green round things, is a chloroplast. Now, magic school bus, we're going to go inside of the chloroplast, right? So again, the whole tree, photosynthesis, we're going inside one of the leaves, chloroplast. Now we're going inside of the chloroplast. Light enters the chloroplast through a membrane, through the membrane, right? That protective layer, semi-permeable, and is absorbed by a pigment chlorophyll. Absorbed by the pigment chlorophyll. So again, photosynthesis. Chloroplast. Again, I think chloroplast should be highlighted. Chlorophyll should be highlighted. So, we just talked about chloroplast, which is how the plant is able to conduct photosynthesis, right? It absorbs the light, it produces the glucose. Now we're going to go inside that chloroplast. We have chlorophyll. What is chlorophyll made of? It's made of tiny discs called thylakoids. I would also highlight that. What are thylakoids? They're the stack of green pancakes. So if I were to digest or break this down, right? This yellow part is our chloroplast. Inside our chloroplast, we have the chlorophyll. That chlorophyll is made up of thylakoids. 1 thylakoid, 2 thylakoid, 3, right? So on and so forth. Now, as you're writing, I'll ask you a question. In this picture, that light is going through the chloroplast. It's hitting the chlorophyll. It's going through the thylakoids. And what's happening to that light? What did it turn into? Huh? Energy, but what does it look like? What color is that? What is that? Rainbow, right? It's breaking up the light. But did it absorb, right? Where it says absorb light. Did it absorb every color? What color did it not absorb that was reflected? What color was reflected? It's on here. Green. That's why you see green, right? In terms of how light enters our eyes, That is the last color that we see because that's the last color that's reflected. The way I can prove that to you, what color is the ocean? See, some people say blue, but it's clear. Blue is the last color that's reflected off the water, right? Do all animals see the objects as the same color? No. That is the last color of light that's reflected that is absorbed by their cones and rocks, right? Give you guys a few more seconds. So again, just to reiterate, tree, leaf, inside the leaf, chloroplast, inside of that chloroplast, chlorophyll. What is the chlorophyll made of? A stack of pancakes called thylakoids. Only thing that I want you guys to write from here, because you already have it in your notes, next to thylakoids, acts like a solar panel. Right? It's acting like a solar panel. Same way that you have solar panels at your home or out on establishments, where the sun hits those solar panels, it converts it into what? Energy. Right? It converts it into energy. And then quickly again, in terms of structure and how everything is similar for similar functions, does this look similar in function, or structure rather, to our Golgi apparatus, to our rough endoplasmic reticulum, to maybe the inside of the mitochondria, right? What did we say having those folds and those multiple layers, what does it increase for activity, right? Remember, our body wants to do as much as it can by using as little what? Energy, right? So I'll just say it, it's increasing the surface area. All right, remember I told you if you just have one flat piece of paper, but if we rolled up 10 to equal the same length, surface area, you can get more stuff to touch. That's what we're seeing. This is the dynamic that we're seeing here. Okay, I'll ask you this question. Do you think